The benefits of walking, the secret to staying healthy after 50. Part 1, the simple power of walking. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, I'm so glad you've joined us today. I want to start by asking you a question. What if I told you there's something you can do right now, today, that could boost your energy, lift your mood, and even add years to your life? And the best part? It's free, it's simple, and you don't need any fancy equipment. I'm talking about walking, yes, just putting one foot in front of the other. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Walking? That's it? I've been doing that my whole life. But stick with me because today we're going to dive into why this everyday activity becomes a game changer after 50, and how it might just be the secret to staying healthy and vibrant as we age. Let's start with a little story. A few years ago, I met a woman named Margaret at a community event. She was 62, full of life with this incredible glow about her. I asked her what her secret was, expecting some complicated routine or expensive supplement. She laughed and said, "I walk. Every morning, rain or shine, I walk for 30 minutes. That was it. No gym membership, no personal trainer, just walking." And when I looked into it, I realized Margaret wasn't alone. Study after study shows that walking is one of the most powerful tools we have to keep our bodies and minds strong, especially as we cross that 50-year mark. So why does walking matter so much now? Well, after 50, our bodies start to change. Maybe you've noticed it, your knees creak a little more, or you don't bounce back from a long day quite as fast. That's normal. Our metabolism slows down, our muscles lose some strength, and our joints aren't as forgiving as they used to be. But here's the good news. Walking meets us right where we are. It's low impact, so it's gentle on those joints, but it's still effective enough to keep everything moving. It's like giving your body a daily tune-up without pushing it too hard. One of the biggest benefits, and this is where it gets exciting, is what walking does for your heart. I remember chatting with my friend Tom, who's a retired nurse, and he told me, if people knew how much walking could do for their heart, they'd never sit still. He's right. Research shows that just 30 minutes of brisk walking most days of the week can lower your risk of heart disease by up to 19%. That's huge. Your heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs exercise to stay strong. Walking gets your blood pumping, improves circulation, and helps keep your cholesterol and blood pressure in check. And the best part? You don't have to run a marathon to see those benefits. Just a steady stroll can do the trick. But it's not just about your heart. Walking also works wonders for your bones. After 50, especially for women, osteoporosis becomes a real concern. I've talked to so many folks who worry about brittle bones or fractures. Well, walking is what's called a weight-bearing exercise. Every step you take puts gentle pressure on your bones, which tells them, hey, stay strong. We've got work to do. It's not about lifting heavy weights or doing anything extreme. It's about consistent, everyday movement that keeps your skeleton sturdy. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you with science right off the bat, but there's one more thing I can't wait to share before we move on. Walking and your brain. Have you ever felt that mid-afternoon fog, where you just can't focus? Or maybe you've had moments where you walk into a room and forget why you're there. It happens to all of us. But walking can help with that, too. Studies show it boosts blood flow to your brain, which sharpens your memory and keeps your mind clear. There's even evidence that regular walkers have a lower risk of dementia as they age. So, in a way, every step you take is like an investment in your future self. I know we've covered a lot already, your heart, your bones, your brain, and we're just getting started. What I love about walking is that it's not just about the physical stuff. There's something deeper, something that touches your soul, too. And that's what we're going to explore next. How walking can lift your spirits and make every day feel a little brighter. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you in just a moment. Part 2, Walking for your mind and soul. Welcome back. We just talked about how walking can transform your body, your heart, your bones, even your brain, and I hope you're starting to see why something so simple can be so powerful. But now let's shift gears a little. Because walking isn't just about keeping your physical health in check. It's about how it makes you feel. After 50, life can throw some curveballs. Maybe you're adjusting to retirement, dealing with an empty nest, or just feeling the weight of the years. I've been there, and I know it's not always easy. But walking, It's like a reset button for your mind and soul. Let me paint a picture for you. A few months ago, I was having one of those days, you know, the kind where nothing seems to go right. I was stressed about a family issue, my energy was low, and I just felt stuck. So I laced up my sneakers and went for a walk around my neighborhood. No plan, no rush, just me and the fresh air. Within 15 minutes, something shifted. The tension in my shoulders started to melt away, and by the time I got home, I felt lighter, clearer, like I could take on the world again. That's what walking does. It's not just exercise, it's therapy. There's real science behind this too. When you walk, your body releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that lift your mood naturally. It's like a little happiness boost without a prescription. And for those of us over 50, that's gold. Stress doesn't discriminate by age, but as we get older, we might feel it more. Whether it's from health worries, financial pressures, or just the fast pace of life. Walking helps lower cortisol, that pesky stress hormone, and brings a sense of calm. Researchers have found that even a 20-minute walk can cut anxiety levels in half. Imagine what that could do for your day. And here's something else I've noticed. Walking gives you space to think. I've had some of my best ideas, like starting this channel while out on a walk. There's no phone buzzing, no TV blaring, just you and your thoughts. It's almost meditative. In fact, I've talked to people who say their daily walk is their time to reflect, to pray, or just to be present. One subscriber, Linda, told me she uses her walks to process big decisions. She's 58, and she said, "It's like the world slows down for a bit, and I can hear myself again." I love that, but it's not always about being alone with your thoughts. Walking can also bring you closer to the people you care about. Think about it. A stroll with a friend, a spouse, or even your grandkids is not intense like a workout class. You can chat, laugh, catch up. I've started walking with my neighbor, Sue, once a week, and it's become this little ritual. We talk about everything, our families, our plans, sometimes nothing at all. This connection, and at our age, that's just as important as any physical benefit. Now, I don't want to romanticize it too much. Walking isn't a magic cure for everything, but it's a tool, a really good one. And what's amazing is how it fits into your life, no matter where you're at. Feeling down? Walk. Need to clear your head? Walk. Want to spend time with someone? Walk together. It's so versatile. And that's why it's perfect for us as we navigate this stage of life. So we've covered the body and the mind, but there's one more piece to this puzzle: how to actually make walking work for you. Because let's be honest, knowing it's good isn't the same as doing it. Life gets busy, weather gets tricky, and sometimes motivation just isn't there. That's what we're tackling next: practical tips to turn walking into a habit you'll love. Stick around. Part 3, Making Walking a Habit. Hey there, welcome back. We've already explored how walking can strengthen your body and lift your spirits, and I hope you're feeling inspired by now. But here's where the rubber meets the road, or I guess where the sneakers hit the pavement. Knowing all these benefits is one thing, but making walking a regular part of your life, that's where the real magic happens. So let's talk about how to do it. How to take the simple act and turn it into a habit that sticks, especially after 50 when routines can feel harder to change. First off, let's keep it real. Starting anything new can feel daunting. Maybe you haven't walked regularly in years, or you're worried about time, energy, or even how you'll feel the next day. I get it. I remember when I decided to get serious about walking. I was 52, and my first thought was, where do I even begin? The answer? You start small. You don't need to walk an hour right out of the gate. Try 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes around your block, down your street, or even in your backyard. The key is to make it so easy you can't say no. And here's the thing, those 10 minutes add up. Research says even short bursts of walking can improve your health, better blood sugar, lower stress, more energy. Small steps lead to big wins. Now, once you've got those 10 minutes down, build on it. Maybe after a week, you bump it to 15, then 20. The goal isn't speed or distance. It's consistency. I found that picking a time of day helps. For me, it's mornings. There's something about starting the day with fresh air that sets the tone. But maybe you're a sunset walker, or you like a midday break. Find what fits you. One friend of mine, James, swears by his after-dinner walks. He's 67, and he says it's his way to unwind and digest. Whatever works, make it yours. And speaking of making it yours, let's talk about enjoyment. If walking feels like a chore, you won't stick with it. So how do you make it fun? Music's a great place to start. Load up a playlist with songs you love, maybe some classics from your younger days. I've got Sweet Caroline on mine, and I'm not ashamed to admit I hum along. Or try an audiobook or podcast. Suddenly, your walk becomes story time. I've heard from viewers who say they've gotten hooked on mysteries or history podcasts, and now they want to walk just to hear the next chapter. Another trick. Mix up where you go. I used to stick to the same route every day, safe, familiar, but boring. Then I started exploring. A park one day, a quiet street the next. Keeps things fresh, and you might discover something new. Last week, I found this little pond I didn't even know was near my house. Ducks and all. If you've got a friend or a pet, bring them along. My dog Max is my walking buddy. He's 12, so we're both moving at our own pace these days, but it's our time together. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Obstacles. Weather's a big one. Rain, snow, heat, it can throw you off. On those days, I say get creative. Walk inside, around your house, up and down stairs, or even at a mall if you've got one nearby. I've done laps in my living room during storms, and it still counts. And if your body's feeling stiff or sore, listen to it. Walking's gentle, but you don't want to push through pain. Stretch a little before you go. Nothing fancy, just a calf stretch or arm swing, and ease into it. One last tip for building this habit. Track it. Not in a stressful way, but in a look what I did way. I use a little notebook. Each day I walk, I jot down how long and how I felt. Some people use apps or fitness trackers, which is great if you're into tech. Seeing those days add up, it's motivating. You realize, wow, I've walked 5 days this week. It's proof you're showing up for yourself. So that's the how to. Start small, make it fun, and keep going. But before we wrap up, I want to tie it all together with some real stories and a final push to get you out the door. That's coming up next, so stay with me. Part 4, Real Stories and Your Next Step. Welcome to the final part. Thanks for sticking with me. We've covered a lot. How walking boosts your body, lifts your mood, and fits into your life. But now, let's bring it home with some real stories and a little nudge to get you started. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that hearing how it's worked for others can light that spark to try it yourself. Let's go back to Margaret, that woman I mentioned earlier. At 62, she'd never been a fitness person. But after a health scare, a high blood pressure reading that shook her, she started walking. 30 minutes a day, every day. Fast forward a year, and her doctor was stunned. Her numbers were back in a healthy range, and she'd lost 15 pounds without even trying. But what she told me stuck with me most. I feel like me again. That's what walking gave her. Not just a healthier body, but a sense of control, of joy. She's 65 now, still walking, still glowing. Then there's Paul, a subscriber who emailed me last month. He's 71, and he started walking after losing his wife 2 years ago. He said the grief was crushing, and he barely left the house. But one day he walked to the end of his driveway, just that far. Then the next day to the corner. Now, he's up to 45 minutes, and he says it's not just about exercise, it's about feeling alive again. "It's my time to talk to her," he wrote. I teared up reading that. Walking became his lifeline. These aren't one-offs. I've heard from so many of you. Diane, who walks with her grandkids and feels stronger every week. Robert, who ditched his afternoon naps for a stroll and has more energy now at 59 than he did at 49. The benefits we've talked about: heart health, strong bones, a clear mind, less stress, they're real and they show up in real lives. Maybe yours could be next. So here's my challenge to you. Try it. Today, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, just take a walk. Start with 10 minutes. Put on your shoes, step outside, and go. Notice how you feel, the air, the rhythm of your steps, the little lift in your chest. You don't need a plan or a goal. Just move. And if 10 minutes feels good, do it again tomorrow. That's how it starts. That's how it becomes yours. I'll leave you with this. After 50, we've earned the right to feel good, not perfect, not 20 again, but good. Walking's not about chasing youth. It's about embracing where we are and making it better. It's simple, It's free, and it's waiting for you. So what do you say? Let's take that first step together. Drop a comment below. Tell me where you walked, how it felt, or just say hi. I read every one, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for being here today.